in the UK, we have to be very self-sufficient, independent, which is also a good thing, but at the same time, it's a different lifestyle, right?
Yeah, but, the way I'm seeing it is it's quality of life, because you have the time to focus on other things that are important to you.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome. Everyone's always asking, where would you move to if you had the option? Money wasn't an issue. Would it be Pakistan? Would it be Turkey? Right, that's the number one question, because I have traveled around Turkey for 6 weeks. I've met expats there, and I think today's vlog will be dedicated to you guys who are on the verge of either Turkey or Pakistan. I'm going to Faisal Masjid. We're going to speak to somebody who stayed there for 3 months. I'm also going to share what other expats told me whilst I was in Turkey, and I'll also give you my honest opinion about if you had the choice, which one would you go to. Now, Faisal Masjid, here we come. Assalamu alaikum and welcome, guys. We're here outside Faisal Masjid, and on my right here, or your left, is brother Ismail. Yeah,
yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Lived in Turkey for 3 months.
3 months.
We're gonna get some feedback off the brother. He's met other people that were there for 3 months and also expats, so we'll find out, do you want to move to Pakistan or do you want to move to Turkey? And the brother on my left is Osman.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Osman has lived in has visited other countries, wanted to maybe recommend moving there, but now he's choosing Pakistan, but we'll find out why. So with Ismail at the beginning, let's start with you.
Yep.
Stayed in Turkey 3 months.
In Istanbul in 2022 for 3 months, where we met and we had our first
vlog together.
Yes, we did. And then I'm now visiting Islamabad at the moment.
MashaAllah.
So originally my family come from Islamabad, Pindi.
Yeah.
And here I am visiting since 2021 was my last visit here. So
I remember when we did our last vlog together, you said when you go back to England, you're gonna get your holiday blues. You're not looking forward to it.
Coming back to England?
Yeah, after the 3 months, do you remember?
Yes. I mean, it did happen. When you come back, when you land back into London, after you've seen, Istanbul, been there for 3 months, living life, and then as winter hits, you're like, what am I doing here, man? But
Subhanallah. It's been like 2 years since then.
Yeah, just under 2 years,
Have you not considered leaving again or not?
Family circumstances play a big part, right?
Oh,
so
yeah, it's true.
When I was 3 months in Turkey, I was on my own, just doing my thing.
Yeah.
But, looking next stage of life, getting married, other commitments around that. So it's not as straightforward as just getting up and just going.
Yeah.
But,
no, it's true. It's true.
We'll see what the future holds.
Let's talk about the people you met there. There were other people from Britain and the West in general. Some were there for 3 months, some were actually living there.
Yes.
What was their experience? Was it similar to yours? Were they happy there? Did they want to stay there? Did they never want to leave?
I think majority of them who have come from the West, they value the fact that it's a Islamic country, where it's an Islamic environment. Where we were living in Fatih in Istanbul,
that was definitely
very conservative. Masjid 5 times a day, the adhans, kids are going to Islamic school, Arabic school, easy access to halal food or all these day-to-day sort of things that in the West we still have it, but depending where in the West you're living. I'm from a bit of a you could say an English white area, so it's Kent. Not as straightforward. So so as a straight comparison, Istanbul was a lot easier living life as a Muslim.
True.
For a lot of the other guys that I met, they're from the US, again from cities that again it's not as catered for as it is for them in Istanbul. So again, that's a big factor for them. So that was them. Then I met a lot of students who are coming in to study Arabic, Quran, Islamic sciences, Sharia, whatnot. So they're probably there for well, not long term, but whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 4 or 5 years. Most of them, they're pretty happy with their current routine, or the routine they had at the time.
Were they able to like adjust just straight away? They didn't feel any setbacks, any differences?
I mean, I think everyone has sort of minor things. So for example, being in Istanbul where I was, I might be missing my desi food, but it's not the end of the day, right? It's not the end of the day.
That's true.
We'll survive. So we move. So maybe some of the brothers from other countries, some were from Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, but they kind of speak Turkish anyway. They probably have similarities.
They speak they eat the similar food.
The
anyway.
Turkish
origin.
branch anyway. So. So, but I'm sure they adjusted. They probably had little things to get over, logistics, but khair, like they generally seemed happy. They were jolly in class, in Arabic class.
Would you be there with a family? Just say if you were to get married and children.
Would you actually settle there with family?
I mean, if I look at other people who were there, some of them were there with family, some of them were students studying, Islamic sciences. So they're like at least spending 5 years there. So they got, their wife and kids with them. They probably got the side hustles there, property or rental, rent sort of schemes going on there. So in terms of looking at the different factors, there's a lifestyle. I think they seem pretty happy with that. As long as coming from a Western country, if you are earning in your local Western currency, then you can live quite comfortably there. So that's a big factor for a lot of people, because if that's the case, then it means you can not do a 9 to 5, 9 to 6 like you're doing in your home, wherever you come from, right? Obviously that's a big advantage to you or to that person compared to the local people living there. So speaking of Turkey, not all Turks can live like that. Obviously a lot of them are living like that. But anyway, their circumstances are different to yours. So if you're focusing on yourself, there is that big advantage if you
earn in a foreign currency, especially West
pounds, dollars, euros,
all of them.
It can take you quite far there.
So we got Osman here. Brother has talked to me about different countries. Maybe talk about all the countries that you've tried to do research on. And how you'd feel, would you have a future there?
Yeah, so I shortlisted out, everyone has the UAE first in their mind, but quite quickly Dubai was off the question. It wasn't something that I was looking for. Sharjah was one on the list, so I'd done some research on that. Culturally kind of was more suitable, and in terms of deen-wise, you can see it a lot more, which was nice. So I had a look at a few developments over there, was considering making investments there to just settle myself permanently. I also had I was thinking of Malaysia, because I've been there a couple of times with my family and we loved it. I mean, the food, the culture, it's a nice mix of you've got the Malay and you have Chinese and Indian mixed together, so the food is amazing. And in terms of deen, everything's halal. There's masjids everywhere. Literally every corner there's a masjid, and the masjids are amazing. They're so nice. So I was thinking about that. I met a few people out there who, some businessmen who are Pakistani as well. So got in touch with them, or stayed in touch with them. They gave me a lot of advice in terms of how to move there with family. So I planned it all out. The major concerns I had around Malaysia was the distance, because from the UK it's around 14-15 hours of a flight, and not knowing anyone, it was slightly you kind of become a bit anxious that you're in the middle of nowhere and it's so far away from everyone, no family, nothing. So that was a bit of a concern. In terms of visa wise, it's actually really good if you hold a British passport, because you can stay for 3 months without any problems and just go out of the country. You could go to Singapore for a day, come back. You can extend it for another 3 months, which is amazing. They also have some plans for remote workers, not in the main city like Kuala Lumpur, but outside. They have other regions where you can go and work remotely, and they'll give you a visa, which is good. But I wanted to stay in KL, but those two concerns around visa and being away from family made me think, okay, maybe Pakistan then as well. A couple of years back, I'd planned for Lahore, and I knew about everything in Lahore. I'd driven up and down, west, east, everywhere, so I was comfortable with it. But then when I came again, it was in December when the smog season hits in, and I couldn't really think myself living there with family during that period, because people get sick, they have chest infections and stuff like that. So then I had to do research again, and Islamabad was on the cards. It's amazing, it's beautiful. So I had to do all that research again and make the commitment to come here. So I'm here for a week, 5 days. Had a look at schools, areas to visit, and also general just vibes and stuff, figuring out a place which would be suitable for my family. So alhamdulillah, I had a lot of support from brothers here on the group as well, on the WhatsApp group set up by brother Farhan, and also met up with a few people who I know through relatives and family friends and stuff. So alhamdulillah, I've achieved a lot in 5 days through the help of some brothers on the group as well, some businesses that have been set up.
That's it. So there's a WhatsApp, we've got a WhatsApp group for expats. If anyone wants to join, you can email us. The brother actually, there was somebody advertising, they had a poster about services for overseas Pakistanis, and he actually rang them. Did you ring them or did you message them?
So I messaged them. So I sent a message and straight away they got back to me. It was Starter Pack.
Starter Pack.
Yeah, Starter Pack Islamabad.
I'll share the details on the video, inshallah. So tell us, what did they do? How much did they charge?
So they offer an essential service. So the main concerns you've got when you come here is, okay, I need to have a phone, like, you know, connection, data, money perhaps, and your transport. So they offer that service to you, and they do other essentials as well. So they arranged my transport, and also they arranged my SIM card. There was a driver which came, and there was also one of the brothers, his name is Dilshad, who was part of the business. He came and he also took me to the hotel as well, so it was nice for him to be there. And also my SIM card actually didn't work, which is I didn't realize that would happen, because I used my phone a couple of years ago in Lahore, and so this whole tax thing of, they lock it if you don't pay your tax, and I didn't realize that would happen. So he was so kind enough to take me to a phone shop, and he bought a small smartphone for me to use data, so I could use my SIM. And so having that arrangement in place, just having someone to support you during those times was amazing. So the rate at which they do it is based on the car that you choose. So if you want a really high-end car, it would be more expensive, but they have a daily rate. So just say around a Corolla would be around 10,000 per day if you want, a driver or something like that. And the collection is dependent on the car. Can't remember from the top of my head how much the actual transport is from the airport, but they offer other services as well. So they because I made a booking through them, they said we can also offer you other things. They get an idea of what your intention is, what you're trying to do here. So I told them, I'm looking to move family over here, and I told them what my plan was, and they said that we can arrange your whole itinerary for you, which was amazing. So part of the service, if I use a driver every day with them, they would have this arranged. So they gave me like a spreadsheet of all of the places that I wanted to visit, set out to the days. So they set out specific areas. They even made phone calls for me, right, to arrange appointments with realtors and schools even.
Amazing.
So honestly, they were, because I could have done it myself, but I just didn't have the time, because I had to, I made the choice to come here at short notice, and it was to have that service in place was amazing. So thank you guys.
Amazing. So guys, people always ask me this question, because I've been to Turkey for 6 weeks, brother over here has been for 3 months, other people like the brother Osman here has been to Malaysia, Sharjah and other places. If money wasn't the issue, obviously residency, properties and everything costs a lot of money, right? If money wasn't the issue, where would you settle? I personally, Istanbul. If money wasn't the issue. Why? It's very easy to kind of climatize to Istanbul as it would to Pakistan. It's more similar to the West. You get everything you get in the UK, but as a Muslim version. I feel more accepted there. The locals are amazing. They're just so nice and kind. You don't feel like, okay, I'm gonna get robbed now, I'm gonna get kidnapped. They know I'm from abroad. That's it, I'm gonna go missing any minute now. I even said to my wife before I came here, I said to my wife, I'm gonna ask this question, if money wasn't the issue, where would we go? I'm gonna say Istanbul. And she said, yeah. If I had said Istanbul before coming to Pakistan, she would have said, yeah, let's move there. Coming to Pakistan took me 5 years convincing my wife, but Istanbul wouldn't have. Okay? So for me, it's Istanbul because it kind of ticks all the boxes.
Okay. So another question, I don't know if you already covered it before, but why did you choose Islamabad in the end?
I don't actually live in Islamabad.
Oh, no, Pakistan. Why?
I chose Pakistan. It's really easy. Cost. Right? Cost of living is the lowest. My father's already got property here. All I had to do was renovate the flat. So no rent to pay. I've got no load shedding where I am. so that's a bonus. And even if I wanted to do it temporarily and it was too much for me, I could leave. Knowing that I've renovated a property and leaving is fine, because we could always come back and stay in there. My family can stay in there. So for me, it was a win-win situation. And like the brother said, he did all his research in Lahore, and now he has to do his research again for Islamabad. I did 5 years research and just where I was living there, and around here slightly. And in the meantime, I was convincing my wife whilst we were visiting here. So that's why. What about you?
Okay, if I was to live in Pakistan, it would definitely be Islamabad, without a doubt. I have been to Lahore once. I've been to Karachi many years ago. I will be going next week, so I'll find out how it's changed. But it's without a doubt Islamabad, because it was a planned city. Everything is organized, relatively speaking, to all the other cities, and the weather's much more easier for me to handle than compared to the other cities. I think one thing we should stress upon, sometimes people have this ingrained in their heads that Pakistan's like a dump hole or something like that. Islamabad is a very modern city.
Very modern.
In many areas, it's much more advanced than the UK. The roads, I was on the road to Nathia Gadi in the mountains yesterday. The motorways are beautiful, much better than M25, M1, M6, all of that. So honestly, it's good. Like if money is not an issue, you can have a good life and really enjoy yourselves here. Plenty of food places, and it's still growing. Islam was known to have this reputation that people sleep early, like compared to like Karachi, Lahore. I think in the last few years that is starting to change. There's a lot of potential for like investors like to start up businesses here. Definitely. So there's a lot, I think, still yet to come as well in the coming years, inshallah. So, but coming to the initial question, where would I live? So I said if I was to live in Pakistan, it would be Islamabad. Compared to Istanbul again is also a beautiful city. But I think what pips Islamabad to Istanbul is the fact that because I'm Pakistani and we do love our homeland, you could say. I think that brings us back here. But Istanbul again, beautiful city, beautiful sea. Again, very diverse city, because it's similar to the West, and I'm third generation British Pakistani, so it's, again, there's a lot of things that's also easier to kind of get used to as well, because we're used to that in the West. There's probably other things you probably have to think about if you're living here. Depending where you are in Pakistan, sometimes don't flex that you're from the West or anything, because you never know what will happen. But as long as these things, you're on top of that, generally speaking, you can enjoy yourselves, have a good life here in Islamabad.
So anywhere in the world, money wasn't the issue?
I think
one place.
I think it'd have to, Islamabad pips all of it.
Okay, he's saying Islamabad.
Ultimately.
And he's lived in Turkey for 3 months.
Yeah, and also, and the other thing to add, right, in Pakistan, it's a big country. It's got a lot of different terrains, different
climates, even
the natural beauty. People go to the northern areas and say, I thought I was in Switzerland. This is Pakistan. So sometimes we forget and not even appreciate the beauty of Pakistan ourselves. Definitely. So for the viewers, if you haven't visited Pakistan, at least come visit the north, the cities.
It's true.
You will enjoy yourselves.
If you want hot sand, go to Balochistan. If you want the hot throughout the year, summer, winter, wherever, Karachi. If you want the snowy mountain and Switzerland, go to the north. If you want the mixture of just about everything, come to Islamabad. It gets very cold and it gets very hot. Osman, it's all down to you, brother.
My preference would be Islamabad. Combination of what these brothers just mentioned, plus also just having that security of, at the end of the day, you are a national, and you can go in and out of the country anytime you want without any restriction. So if you've got your card, your NICOP, Nadra thing, there's no problem. If you're in another country, there's going to be some visa restrictions involved. So if there's a problem ever, like we had a few years ago with COVID and that type of thing, they prefer people from outside not to be there. People become a bit more defensive. If you're Pakistani, you can go in and out. Life can be a lot easier in Pakistan if you obviously have the money. You can have people that can help you around day-to-day life, which is challenging. It's hard to find that anywhere else, even in Turkey. Trying to get that day-to-day.
Just to add a point, when I had family visiting us in the UK, they've come in their lifestyle here, they've got, you know, the maid, the gardener, the driver. They live like kings compared to us in the UK, right?
There's probably more people helping them than
Exactly.
the family.
Whereas in the UK, we have to be very self-sufficient, independent, which is also a good thing. But at the same time, it's a different lifestyle, right?
Yeah, but, the way I'm seeing it is, it's quality of life, because you have the time to focus on other things that are important to you, rather than having to do the hoover. Right? I can do something else which is going to enhance my life.
Read a book.
Yeah, I could read a book. I can be with my children, spend time.
Study more.
You know, I can learn knowledge, invest in a business, do something, right? You're making more use of your time that you have, right? Which is fantastic. You can't, it's hard to, it's not impossible, but it's harder to get that anywhere else. So that, for me, tips it.
Alhamdulillah. Well, guys, thank you for joining me on this vlog. It's great to have you guys here.
Good to meet you again after 2 years.
2 years meeting up again. Guys, see you in the next one. Everyone says Assalamu alaikum. 3, 2, 1. Assalamu alaikum.